Hey guys, it's Molly. Today I'm gonna be doing my July wrap-up and I am super proud of myself this month because I managed to read a total of 10 books altogether. Even though like 5 of those books were poetry books and the other 5 were actual novels, but still I haven't read this much for months, like from last year actually. The first book that I read this month was Eon by Alison Goodman. This is a young adult fantasy book set in a more like Asian kind of culture and it is super good. I liked it. I rated it around 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is a high rating, but the reason why I don't sound too excited about it is because it had a really slow start. I couldn't really get into it till like halfway through, but from then it becomes so good and you just get really absorbed into it. I do think that this book isn't like the normal typical young adult fantasy. It has its own writing style to it and I feel like it goes more into detail and it's a lot heavier than most young adult fantasy where, you know, usually in young adult fantasy they sort of just get straight to the point. They don't really focus on the world building as much, but in this one I found that there was a lot of world building and it was really cool to see the court kind of setting in like the Asian kind of culture. I think it's mostly Chinese, Japanese kind of court setting and it is super good. And there's a lot of plot twists in this and I will definitely be reading the second book and I'd recommend this to everyone who loves reading young adult fantasy. The next book that I read is a poetry book and it's my favorite poetry book of this month and it is Heart by Ayesha Khan. I loved this book so much, like I love it to bits, guys. I'm going through a kind of tough time, I would say, and I'd say this book really captured my feelings and my thoughts perfectly. This book is amazing not just because of the writing. I love everything about it, like how it looks, what's in it and everything. So let me just show you quickly. It's divided into 4 sections. The first one's love and then it's break, relapse and hope. I guess this is kind of normal in like poetry books, but it just looks so pretty and it has really adorable illustrations on like every page. It's so entertaining to read even though like I feel like crying for most of the pages and every once in a while we get like an excerpt of like, I would say it seems like a blog post because it seems like something I would write on my blog. It's like more insight from the author's experiences and things and it just really complements the poems very well. And not just that, guys, in the middle of the book, let me just show you, it has like these really aesthetic pages of like really inspirational kind of quotes and I was just really blown by this book. I love it so much. The thing about poetry books is it really depends on the reader, what the reader has gone through, whether the reader can relate to the author's writing or not. So it might not be for everyone, but I can say that this is truly for me. Thank you so much, Ayesha. I've interacted with Ayesha on social media. She is, I swear, she is the nicest person ever and she's just so inspirational and thank you so much, Ayesha, for writing this beautiful book. You guys should definitely check this book out. I'll leave the links below in the description box for you to check it out. But truly, I love this a lot. I rated it 4.75 out of 5 stars. It's definitely a book I'll be reading over and over. Like if you can see how many pages I dog-eared, it's pretty much like more than half of the book. The next book that I read was I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Marine Gu. This is a young adult contemporary about this half Korean girl named Jessie and I can't really remember exactly what it's about, but she kind of falls in love with this guy. The reason why I don't really remember what it's about is because I didn't really enjoy it. I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars. I thought that the writing was actually pretty good. It's just the characters were just not likable at all for me. I think Desi is just extremely reckless and immature. I mean, we get that a lot in young adult, but this is like at an even greater level that I can't exactly be okay with, but yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is one of my favorite books of the month and you've probably seen me do a review for this and it's Saints and Misfits by S.K. Ali. This book is just everything I wanted in a young adult contemporary. It's about a Muslim hijabi named Jannah and she's just extremely relatable. It's about friendship, it's about family, finding out who you want to be, it's about facing your demons and it's so good. I'm not gonna ramble too much about this book. You can check out the full review in my video or on my blog if you're too lazy to watch. but I love this a lot. I rated it 4.75 out of 5 stars as well. I love the Muslim representation in this. We need more of these books, guys. More stories like these, just, you know, books that represent like a positive light on Muslims, because this is pretty much how we live, guys. This one's set in America, so it's probably a little bit different from other Muslim cultures like in Malaysia and everything. There were a lot of things that were similar, and there were also differences as well, and it's just so interesting to see how different the Muslim culture is in different countries and how similar a lot of the things are. And it's just, I'm just so happy that this book exists. Everyone should read it. I just have so much love for this book. Just go pick it up already, guys. Just go. And then I read a bunch of other poetry books. The first one I read was Love and Misadventure by Lang Leave. Unfortunately, I did not like this one. I rated it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I thought that the writing was a little bit cringy and I just couldn't relate to most of the poems. But that could just be me. I'm so glad that I didn't give up on Lang Leave because I found other gems in her other books. The first one that I read after that one was Lullabies, and I actually read the ebook, but I liked it so much that I had to order a physical copy. I just remember a lot of the poems and pieces being so relatable, and I felt so emotional and connected to it. And what I like about this one compared to Love and Misadventure is that it's not just poems inside. It has like these kind of ones. It's pretty much just like thoughts as well, and there's also like stories and metaphors and things. So I thought it was a lot more interesting. There was more content compared to the first one that she wrote, so she definitely improved from Love and Misadventure. So Lullabies is definitely one of the ones I liked. I rated this one 4 out of 5 stars. And the next one that I read was The Universe of Us, also by Lang Leave, and this one's my favorite Lang Leave book. I rated this 4.5 stars out of 5. I cried reading this one. There were a couple of poems that just really got to me, and I got really emotional, and I just burst into tears. I don't know, but if an author can make me cry like that, they deserve a lot of love. I'm thinking of doing like a poetry recommendation video. I don't know if you guys want me to do that, let me know. But I have about like 6 poetry books altogether that I'd really like to recommend to people because they personally helped me grow as a person and have a perspective about love and everything. So yeah, if you guys want that, let me know. The other poetry book that I read was Stuff I've Been Feeling Lately by Ayesha Khan, and that one is actually pretty good as well. I read that one on ebook and it's actually really good. I think I rated it about 4 out of 5 stars. It's really unique. It has like this playlist kind of structure to it, where after every poem she writes like listening to this song. So I guess like that's the song that sort of inspired her to write that poem. The first half is full of that, and the second half is the exact same poems from the first half, but she does it in like a blackout poetry style. So she makes like a new poetry out of the poetry that she already wrote, and it's really interesting. It's not just about love, it's also about grief and family and finding your home. And yeah, I could relate to some of it, but not most of it. So it's not like a favorite, but I did enjoy it, and if you have a chance to read it, I would check it out as well. Alright, and the next book I read was The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is an epic fantasy. It is super thick, if you can see. There's about like 700 pages. So my favorite booktuber, Regan from Peruse Project, she loves this book a lot, so I had to get it. I liked it, I really liked it, but I think I would have liked it more if I didn't feel like I wanted to read something kind of fast, because this is a fantasy and it's really slow, as in it really takes its time to build up the character and build up the setting. This one's basically about this boy named Quothi, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's told in 2 different settings. Basically, he's kind of like a legend, and then he tells his tale as a boy to this one chronicler, and that's how we go back and forth from the present to the past. It's actually pretty tragic. He has a really tragic childhood. It has a bit of like a Hogwarts vibe to it, because he goes to this school called the university to learn a lot of things. I thought it was gonna be a lot of magic, but it didn't really turn out to be like that. But yeah, I did enjoy this. I did. It was just really slow. That was my only problem. And the last book that I read is one of my favorite books of this month as well, and that is Wing Jones by Catherine Weber. This book is so so good. So this is a young adult contemporary following our girl Wing Jones. She is a very interesting character. Her dad's from Ghana, her mom's from China, so she looks a lot different from other people, and she has a brother named Marcus. She lives with her grandmothers, and her grandmothers are just hilarious. I swear, I love them a lot. I love all of the characters in this book, like seriously, all of them except for maybe that one bully. Everyone is just so imperfect but so relatable and so interesting to read about. And this is basically a coming of age book, so you do get that kind of vibe where you kind of feel like you achieved something by the end following the character. Basically, it's about Wing discovering who she can be and actually, you know, pursuing that kind of dream. And it's like emotionally good. Like, so many things happen. You'll just feel a lot of emotions reading this, like happy emotions, sad emotions, exciting emotions. Yeah, I thought that it was also really realistic because some bad things happen and the consequences of what happens, I thought that they were actually quite realistic, and I really appreciated that. Please go read this, guys, if you haven't. I don't know why it took me this long to finally pick this up. Definitely one of my favorites. Go pick it up and tell me what you thought about it. So yeah, guys, those are all the books that I managed to read in July. Comment down below and let me know how many books you managed to read, which ones were your favorite, and if you read any of the books that I read, and if you like them, let me know as well. We can discuss about it. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!